Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm just thrilled to have Astrid return as our teacher for this morning's class. And I am actually going to turn the class over to her and let her give you a little bit of an introduction, a little bit of herself, and then a little bit about the context for the class. So, Astrid, go ahead, and I'm going to remove my own spotlight. Go ahead and introduce yourself and the class.
Okay, thank you first of all for having me teach here, Susan. My name is Astrid Kruse. I'm from Germany. I live in the south of Germany in Bavaria. It's raining here, and the good thing about the rain is that there are no wildfires, so I'm happy with the weather. Um, well, my Somatics background is that I've been in wave 24 and I've graduated, I think, 2 years ago, and have been since on the teaching team. And I continue studying and I continue exploring. And I have picked for today's class, I've picked a series of movements that I have found extremely helpful in my own body. And one of these movements, I brought this especially from Italy when I was on holiday. I will tell you that afterwards. It's a bit like a swimming move. Yeah, I have learned a lot from these movements, and I want to share those movements with you. We will focus on the hips, the knees, and the pelvis in the first movement. It's like a deep dive into a movement pattern most of you already know, the Clam. And then the second movement will focus on the spine, and in particular on the thoracic spine, because I've found in myself and with many clients that people have a lot of pain and tension in their thoracic spine. So the focus of the second set of movements will be on the thoracic spine, but of course with the whole torso, upper torso participating. Third movement will focus on the back muscles. You will be contracting and releasing muscles along your whole muscular back line. And then the last set of movements will be focusing on the hip joint again, and will be a deeper exploration of our basic arch and flatten move. All these movements together are designed to enhance stability and mobility and core connection. And I'm using techniques I've learned through Somatics. My most patient teacher is Susan, and I'm very grateful for her input and help. So thank you very much for everything, Susan. And then without further ado, go ahead and please lie on your backs. We'll be starting on the back with a short body scan. Take your time. Make yourself comfortable on your backs. Take a pillow if you need to, if you want to, if that feels more comfortable, take a pillow under your head. And take some deep breaths to arrive. And notice when you breathe, where's your breath moving your body? And during the class, there will be a lot of side lying, so you might need a pillow for under your head when you're on the side. But other than that, you won't need much in particular. And then go ahead and notice how are your heels on the floor, right heel, left heel in comparison. And how do your calves greet the floor? Right side compared to the left side, how does that feel? And your knees, are your knees touching the floor or not? Right and left, are they the same? And your thighs, right and left thigh. And And then go up with your attention on your hip to your pelvis, right and left hemipelvis. Are they the same? Are they like feeling, is one more bony or one more soft on the floor? Do you feel that one might be higher and one might be lower? Whatever you feel is true for this moment, and it's only momentarily. It can change. It can change now during the class or later. And then go ahead with your attention, go up to your lumbar spine. How do your muscles feel, like right and left of your lumbar spine? And your shoulder blades, right and left, are they the same on the floor? Can you feel a difference? And just notice. Continue breathing. And how do the tops of your shoulders feel and the tips of your shoulders? Are they the same right and left? Is there anything coming to your attention? And your arms, right and left. How do they feel from the inside? And then very gently and slowly roll your head to one side, just as far as it wants to go. And then come back to center. And then roll your head on the other side, to the other side. See how far it wants to go, and then come back to center, slowly and gently. Notice how is your body greeting the floor today. Take a little time and feel your body from the inside, the whole body. Where does your attention go first? And then let go, and where does it go? Then, if you don't think of the first whatever instance of attention. And now we are going to start with the arch and flatten to warm up your spine. Please stand both feet, knees to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. And feet hip width apart if that's comfortable. And on the next inhale, arch your back, roll your pelvis a little bit so that your back is arching, the lower back. Notice if you can feel a contraction in your back muscles, and then slowly let go of this contraction. Come back to your neutral position. Take an extra breath. And then contract your belly muscles. Bring your pubic bone towards your sternum and sternum towards the pubic bone. Your pelvis is rolling the other way. And slowly release your belly muscles to a neutral position. And then once more go into the arch, contracting your back muscles. Notice the sensations. Are they contracting the same right and left side of the spine? And then slowly let go. Come back to the neutral position. And then go ahead at your own pace with your own attention. Do some arch and flattens. Notice whatever you notice. Do you notice movement in your head, in your thoracic spine? And then come out of the movement. And in the first actual movement of the series of 4 movements we are doing today, we are doing a variation of the, or a deep dive into the clam. We are going to differentiate knee, hip, and pelvis participation in this movement. And we'll be working towards a more conscious participation of those three body parts in the movement. I know many of you have done the clam already, but we are going to do this with some variations now. So please go ahead and lie on your right side in the fallen chair position. Take your pillow if you want under your head. And or take your left arm, lie on your left arm with your head on your left arm, whatever is comfortable for you. Your arm can be long on your side, touching your glutes maybe, because these are the reference muscles we are using, but you can have it wherever you feel is most comfortable for your left arm. And now I'm going to give some simple directions. You're in the chair position. You're going to keep your feet touching, and you're going to lift your top knee, left knee, towards the ceiling. Feel the contraction in your wherever you feel it. And then slowly let go of the contraction so that your left knee comes down towards the other knee. Right. And now we are going to look at how you're using yourself when you're doing the clam. Now, next time as you do the clam and lift your knee, pay attention to your pelvis. Go ahead, lift your knee and pay attention to your pelvis. Focus on the greater trochanter on the floor. You might feel this bony structure of the femur. Can you feel movement there? If you can feel movement there, your pelvis is moving. And slowly come back down to neutral. And what we want to do now is a conscious pelvic movement. So this time when you do the clam, as you lift your knee, bring your pelvis a little backward, and even your upper body might roll a little backward. Roll back on your pelvis. You can feel that on your greater trochanter. And then bring your left knee back down onto your right knee and roll back with your pelvis to a neutral position. And a lot of people are doing this unconsciously. Not everyone is, but when people do the clam, they are doing this pelvic movement unconsciously. So now this time I directed you, you've done it consciously. And go ahead and do it one more time consciously. Lift your knee towards the ceiling and roll on your pelvis backward. Your upper body might even roll a little back. And then come back down with your knee and rest. And the next time you're going to keep the pelvis quiet and just lift your knee. See if it helps to actually slide your top knee just a little forward of your bottom knee. This will change your pelvis a little bit. And remember, you are going to keep your pelvis quiet and upper body quiet in place and just lift the knee so that you're really in the hip joint doing the external rotation. How does that feel? Is that different? Notice the difference. And then slowly come out of the movement and rest. And don't overdo, because we are doing a couple of, or a series of these movements, not only a couple. So this was the pelvic rotation part of the clam. And there's another part. Many people hike their hip. So as you're doing the clam next time, as you're lifting your left knee, notice if you are also hiking your left hip a little bit. And then come down with your knee again. You don't have to go too far. And release. And now the next time, hike your hip deliberately. Hike your left hip when you lift your left knee towards the ceiling. You might even, again, roll back a little bit if that's natural for you. And then come back down with your left knee. And rest and relax. And for the next movement, you don't want to hike with your left hip. So you might hike your right hip to bring your left hip down a little bit. And from this position, lift your left knee towards the ceiling. How does that feel now? With your left hip not hiked, but like maybe lengthened, your left side lengthened a little bit. And then slowly come back down. And explore this a little bit with the hip hiked and unhiked. Your left hip. Notice where you can feel a difference, what feels different, but don't overdo. If it's getting too much, then pause. And now come out of the movement and pause and rest. And now the third aspect of this movement is the stability aspect. So when you're lifting your left knee again, next time, focus on your right knee. Are you pressing your right knee into the floor when you're lifting your left knee? Go ahead, lift your left knee. Notice what are you doing with your right knee? And then come out of the movement again. And next time, consciously press your right knee into the floor when you lift your left knee, your top knee. And come out again. Slowly and gently, and rest. And now in the next movement, you don't want to press with your bottom knee into the floor. And in order to do this, we start slowly. Start pressing, gently pressing your bottom hip into the floor and your bottom foot. Gently press that into the floor and notice if your bottom knee lifts a little bit away from the floor. It's getting lighter, and then lift your top knee and slowly come out again. And one more time, gently press your left hip and your left foot into the floor. Notice if your left knee is lightening on the floor. And then hold on. Yeah, and then come back down with your top knee onto the floor. I'm sorry, I think I was messing up left and right. I'm going with bottom and top now. Okay, press your bottom hip into the floor and your bottom foot into the floor so that your bottom knee is lighter on the floor, and lift your top knee towards the ceiling. And then slowly and gently come out of the movement. And then pause. And rest a little bit before we are going to combine all these three aspects. Now let me explain step by step again. You want to stabilize your pelvis. You might want to bring your top knee a little forward of your bottom knee to stabilize and balance your pelvis, if that's comfortable for you. You're hiking your bottom hip a little and gently pressing your hiked bottom hip and your bottom foot into the floor, lightening your bottom knee, and now lift your top knee up towards the ceiling. What are you noticing? And then slowly come back down with your top knee and rest and repeat. Hike your bottom hip a little bit. Press your bottom hip and your bottom foot into the floor. Balance and stabilize your pelvis. And lift your top knee towards the ceiling slowly and gently. And then slowly and gently release so that your top knee comes down towards your lower knee. And relax. And if you're tired of this movement, then roll onto your back, and otherwise you can do another third repetition in which you're going to balance your pelvis, stabilize your pelvis, bring your top knee a little forward of your bottom knee if that's helping you stabilizing your pelvis. Hike your bottom hip a little and gently press your high bottom hip and your bottom foot into the floor, lightening your bottom knee. And then lift your top knee towards the ceiling. Notice the contraction. Where did you feel the contraction? And then slowly come out of the contraction and rest. And turn onto your back. And notice the difference between your right side and or notice the difference between before and now, if there is any difference. How does your right hemipelvis feel now, your right buttocks compared to the left side? And what did you notice in these movements compared to the clam as you did it before? Take your time. And then turn onto the other side. And since you know the movement now, I will do only one repetition of the individual movements, and then we do the combination. So the first thing is you want to keep do the natural clam on this side as you normally do it without paying any attention, and notice, are you rolling back on your pelvis? Are you hiking your hip? Are you pressing your bottom knee into the floor or not? And then gently and slowly come out of this clam position, lower your knee. And now deliberately roll back onto your pelvis when you lift your top knee. So roll back with your pelvis and maybe also your upper body and lift your top knee. Notice how does that feel? And then come out of the movement. Come back down with your top knee onto your bottom knee. And now stabilize and balance your pelvis. Don't roll back on your pelvis when you, and this might help you. It helps some people if they bring their top knee a little bit in front of their bottom knee. This might help stabilize your pelvis. And now from this position, lift your top knee into the air without rolling back. And slowly come back down. So this is the balancing part of the pelvis, and now the hiking part of the pelvis. Hike your bottom hip so that your top hip goes away from your armpit, and then lift your top knee towards the ceiling and slowly release. Very nice. And now focus on your base of stability of your of your leg, on your knee. When you're lifting your top knee, what is your bottom knee doing? Is it pressing into the floor or not when you're lifting your top knee again? And come back down with your top knee slowly and gently. Always stay slow. And now consciously press your top knee into the floor, the bottom knee into the floor. When you lift your top knee, how does that feel? Slowly come out of the movement. And now try to organize your body so that you're not pressing your bottom knee into the floor. Gently press your bottom hip and your bottom foot into the floor so that your bottom knee gets a little lighter on the floor. And in this position, lift your top knee away from your bottom knee. And slowly and gently come back down. Release the muscles you are contracting so that your knee can come back, your top knee can come back. And rest a little before you do a combination of all three movements, of all three variations. Bring your top knee a little in front of your bottom knee if that's stabilizing your pelvis. Hike your bottom hip a little so that your top hip is getting away from your armpit, and gently press your bottom pelvis and your bottom foot into the floor. And lift your top knee with a stable pelvis and slowly come back down. And whenever this is too much, go ahead and roll onto your back and take a break and pause. And if not, do 2 more repetitions of this combined movement. Start by bringing your top knee a little in front of your bottom knee. Hike your bottom hip a little and gently press your hiked bottom hip and bottom foot into the floor. And then lift your top knee away from your bottom knee. And slowly come back down. And one more time. Bring your top knee in front of, a little forward of your bottom knee if that's comfortable. Hike your bottom hip a little, pressing your bottom foot into the floor and your bottom hip, and lifting your top knee towards the ceiling. Feel the contraction in your buttocks or wherever you feel it. And then slowly come back down and roll onto your back. And notice the sensations you created. Notice if anything changed in your pelvic orientation or in the sensations you have in your pelvis, in your buttocks, and your hips, maybe. What has changed? What was new? What was confusing? And in the next movement, you are going to focus on the thoracic spine. It's again in the side lying position. So lie on your left side, please. Lower body is in the chair position. And it's going to stay relatively quiet. And take your, hold on, you're lying on your left side. Take your right arm behind your head. And now in this position, your nose is pointing in front of you. And you're going to rotate with your upper body. So slowly and gently start turning your head towards the ceiling first with your nose going very slowly. Go vertebra by vertebra in your cervical spine. And then continue the rotation with your first thoracic vertebra, second thoracic, but try to always stay balanced on your pelvis with your belly button pointing in front of you. Your belly button is not pointing towards the ceiling. Don't go too far. You should always stay on your pelvis. The pelvis should stay stable and balanced. Only go so far as you can without rolling on your pelvis. And then stay in this position with the backward rotated spine. And from this position, you're going to curl. Support your head with your hand and lift your head. Your nose is coming in the direction of your hip, and you're going to so that you curl in the backward rotated position and then slowly come back down and out of the position. Very nice. And come back to neutral on your side. Undo the backward rotation. Rest a little bit. And next time you're doing this, try to go really vertebra by vertebra. So take your right hand behind your head and start turning your head towards the ceiling with the nose going towards the ceiling. Notice your vertebrae of the cervical spine, and then bring your sternum more towards the ceiling, turning in your thoracic spine, but your belly button is always pointing forward. And with this backwardly rotated spine, go ahead and curl. Bring your nose towards your pelvis. Lift your head up, nose towards your top pelvis. Curl with backward rotation and then slowly come back down. Uncurl and then rotate. Come back to the neutral position. And rest in a side lying position. And then one last repetition. And in this last repetition, don't go all the way when you rotate backward, but go only 1/3, is 1/3 of the whole range of motion that you have. You have explored this now. So take your right hand behind your head, turn with your head towards the ceiling, but the thoracic spine just a little bit, just 1/3 of the way you could do, and then do the curl. Bring your nose towards your top hip. Slowly come out of the curl. And then go ahead and rotate backward just a little more. Do another curl in this position. Come back down, uncurl, and rotate backward as far as you can comfortably. Don't overdo, and do another curl in this position, supporting your head with your hand. And then slowly come out of the curl and come back to your neutral position, your side lying position. Slowly and gently, vertebra by vertebra. Put your arm on your side and then turn onto your back and notice the sensations you're feeling now. Compare the right side of your thoracic spine or of your whole body to your left side. How does that feel now? Was there any learning in this movement? Any aha? How is your body on the floor? Rest and take some breaths. And then very comfortably turn onto your other side. onto your right side. Take your left hand behind your head and go into the fallen chair position. And if that's not comfortable with you, the hand behind your head is there to support you when you do the curl. If that is not comfortable, you can try and support your head with the other hand, but I strongly suggest doing it with this hand if that's possible for you. If not, of course, yeah, you have to do whatever you can do. So go ahead and take your top hand behind your head and start turning very slowly from your upmost vertebra. Bring your nose towards the ceiling, go vertebra by vertebra in the thoracic spine, and then go down in the cervical spine, sorry, and then come to the thoracic spine. But always keep your pelvis balanced and stable on your side. Don't roll back on your pelvis. Belly button is always pointing in front of you. And then when you've come to the position which is still comfortable for you, go ahead and curl. Bring your nose, lift your head up and bring your nose towards your upper, to your top hip. And then very slowly undo the curl. Come back down and undo the rotation from your lowest thoracic vertebra up to your highest cervical vertebra till you're back on your side. Rest a short moment. And you know, whatever you do, whenever this is too much or uncomfortable, take a break and lie on your back and just do the sideline, stay in the sideline position and do this in your imagination. Don't overdo. So for those of you who are ready, take your left hand behind your head. Start the rotation in your cervical spine. And then go to your thoracic spine, but only go 1/3 of the way. Don't go all the way. And then curl. And come out of the curl very gently and slowly. Rotate a little further. Belly button is always pointing in front of you, not towards the ceiling. Do another curl in this position. And then uncurl. And only if you can, rotate a little further to wherever that's still comfortable. Don't overdo. And do one more curl in this position, lifting your head, going with your nose towards your top hip, and then slowly come out of the curl and come back to your neutral position. On your side. And then turn onto your back and notice how that feels on your back. How does your left and right side feel now? Do you feel any sensations in the area of your thorax, your thoracic spine? Can you feel that you have moved your thoracic spine, you rotated and you curled? And take your time. Take some deep breaths, maybe. And when you breathe, try to breathe into your back, into your back ribs. and you can still stay in this position. I'm introducing the next movement now, and the next movement is what I call the freestyle move. It came up on a holiday in Italy this June. It was incredibly hot, and all I could do during the day was staying indoors or swim. I'm not a competitive swimmer, but I like knowing good techniques, and I remembered that I was told to move my upper body this way in swimming, freestyle, and my feet this way. And I know it was a complete mess because nobody told me what to do with my core and my pelvis. So in Italy, I started playing around with my pelvis and I tried to keep it stable and balanced in all the movement. And it was a totally different experience for my back, what I noticed. So I tried to replicate this effect on the floor. And the following move is what I came up with. And I'm not saying that this has really anything to do with a good swimming style, but it might help you to release your back muscles and maybe even the change something in your pelvic floor area. So it's a side lying movement again. Please lie on your left side. And the starting movement is the same as we just did with the thoracic spine. You can be in you don't have to be in a fallen chair position. Have your lower leg, your bottom leg comfortable for balance, but your top leg can be somewhat straightish, lengthened under you, but with a soft knee, and the knee is comfortably on the floor. So not really straight and just comfortable on the floor, but not as bent as the bottom knee. Your top hand can be behind your head or on your side, whatever is most comfortable for you. When I went through this movement with Susan in preparing this class, Susan came up with the term oppositional ipsilateral, which I just love. So this is an oppositional ipsilateral move. Now go ahead, you lie on your side with your bottom knee bent for stability and top leg with a soft knee. And you want a calm pelvis. Limit the amount of rotation in your pelvis in the following movements. You don't want to roll back on your pelvis. Again, you might want to focus on your belly button. That's a good orientation. If your belly button is pointing forward, you're probably not rolling back on your pelvis. Place your top arm behind your head. Yeah, that's nice. Or on your side. That's okay. And then again, go vertebra by vertebra in your cervical spine and then thoracic spine so that you have a backward turn in your upper torso with your belly button pointing forward. You turn your head towards the ceiling and then the sternum towards the ceiling, but you stay, just as you did before, with your hand behind your head or on your body, whatever is most comfortable for you. So that you have a backward rotation in your upper spine. Your belly button is pointing forward. And now very gently and slowly, you keep your pelvis in this position. And we are now building a more full body movement. Very slowly straighten your top leg down. And you can even lift it a teeny bit from the floor if you want. Leave it straight for a second or two and notice where are you contracting muscles to straighten your leg. Notice your glutes, right glutes, left glutes, maybe obliques. And then slowly extend your leg behind you even further, but keep your pelvis straight. What do you need to do to keep your pelvis in this position? Where do you need to work harder? And then slowly come out of the position. Come out to a neutral position again, your leg on the floor, knee on the floor, elbow pointing forward, unrotating your thoracic spine. And rest. And then one more time. Take your hand behind your head or on your body, whatever is most comfortable for you. Turn backward, turn your nose towards the ceiling first very slowly, and then continue the rotation in your thoracic spine so that your sternum is more pointing toward the ceiling. Notice contractions wherever you notice them. Go slow so that you can notice the contractions in your back. Belly is pointing forward, because otherwise you will be rolling onto your back in the next movement. And then very slowly straighten your leg. Notice where do you contract muscles. And then extend your leg even further behind you. And where do you have to work harder now? When you go even further back, maybe you can notice a contraction in your whole back line. And then slowly come out of this movement again. Bring your top knee to the floor and rest and unrotate your thoracic spine and the cervical spine. And pause. And then notice what was confusing for you, what was interesting. And now one more time, very slowly, take your hand behind your head if that's comfortable. If not, leave it on your side. It doesn't really matter. And turn your head and nose towards the ceiling, and then the thoracic vertebrae, belly button always pointing forward. And then start straightening your right leg or your top leg down. Notice the contractions wherever you feel them. And extend your leg behind you just to where it's comfortable. Can you feel the contraction in your back? And then slowly, slowly decontract. Come out of the movement. You might even want to, when you're on your side, curl a little bit. Rest. And roll onto your back and notice, has anything changed from these movements? Where does your attention go now? Where did you notice muscular contraction in your back? And maybe you notice something in your pelvic floor. And then turn on to the other side. If that's still okay, if you want to take a break and lie on your back, go ahead and do this. Don't overdo. You can only do these movements in your imagination, and it's still very helpful. So go ahead, take your upper hand behind your head or on your body, whatever is comfortable, and then start rotating, bringing your nose and face towards the ceiling first. Rotation in your cervical spine, and then start with your thoracic spine, thoracic vertebrae. Your sternum is moving more towards the ceiling. Belly button is always pointing forward. The pelvis is balanced. And as you now slowly extend your top leg, what do you need to do to keep your pelvis balanced? Where do you have to work harder? Where do you feel contraction in your back? And then slowly decontract, come out of the contraction in your back. And unrotate your thoracic spine movement. Come to your side lying position again. Top knee on the floor in a relaxed position. And repeat. Bring your top hand behind your head. Turn your face slowly towards the ceiling, vertebra by vertebra in your cervical spine. Then thoracic spine. Your sternum goes more towards the ceiling. Pelvis is balanced. And then extend your top leg long. Notice where you have to work harder with your pelvis, to keep your pelvis stable. And then extend your top leg behind you. Feel the contraction in your whole back line, or wherever you feel it. Back line left or right, or left and right. And then slowly decontract. And bring your knee to the floor. Lie on your side. Face pointing forward. And repeat one more time. Top hand behind your head or on your side. And then start rotating your head, your face towards the ceiling. Notice the rotation in your cervical spine, and then start the rotation in your thoracic spine. Bring your sternum more towards the ceiling. Belly button is pointing in front of you. Straighten your top leg and extend it even more behind you. Feel the contraction and then slowly decontract. Come out of the contraction. Feel the lengthening of the muscles when you bring your top leg back onto your bottom leg. If you want to, top knee on your bottom knee. And pause and rest. And roll onto your back and notice whatever is there, the sensations you created. Was there anything you learned from these movements for your own body, in your own body? You go now and feel your body from within. How does that feel? And as I said, this is not really a swimming movement. If you want to do it more like a swimming movement, you can go into the position we had and paddle with your long leg a little bit back and forth. That's closer to the freestyle movement. But now we come to the fourth movement. And this is designed to differentiate the hip joint and the pelvis a little more. So go ahead and bend both knees. And the hip joint is basically where your leg meets your pelvis. And the focus of this movement is an exploration of this hip joint. We are all used to moving our hip joint by moving our leg. But I want to draw your attention to the pelvic part of the hip joint movement. And so we will be moving not the leg in the hip joint, but the pelvis around the thigh bone, which is the femur. And you might notice that these movements are a variation of the arch and flatten. So go ahead, your knees are bent now. And flex your right hip joint so that your right knee is hanging over your pelvis. The foot is dangling on the floor. Right knee is up in the air. Foot is up in the air. The right foot is up in the air, and you can hold your right knee with your right hand if you want to. You don't bring it out to the side, but towards your chest. Your right knee towards your chest. So yeah, and so that it's in a comfortable position. You can hold it with your right hand, or you don't hold it. Whatever is comfortable for you. And whenever not holding the knee is uncomfortable, go ahead and hold it. Now do, in this position, do an arch and flatten. You arch your back, you come out of the arch, and then you flatten your back towards the floor, bringing your left knee can stand, your left foot can stand on the floor, stay on the floor. And then when you arch your back, you inhale, you arch your back, you roll your pelvis, you come out of the arch. And then you bring your pubic bone towards your sternum in the flatten. And notice, what is your right knee doing when you are doing this? Is your knee moving? And then come out of the movement and try to not move your knee when you do the arch and flatten now. So go ahead, and your knee is still in the air, foot is dangling. You can hold, your right knee is in the air. Bring your right knee as you lift it towards your chest. Some of you have it already and some don't. Yeah, so that it's, well, the femur can be straight towards the ceiling. It doesn't have, your right knee doesn't have to be too close to your chest. So where it's comfortable, keep it where it's comfortable, and then do the arch and flatten without moving your knee. Try to do the arch and flatten without moving your knee. You can hold your right knee if you want to. It's a different movement if you don't move your knee. Yeah, hold your knee. Don't move it, and do the arch and flatten with the right knee in the air and the right foot in the air. Very nice. And you can now bring your right knee out a little so that it's further away from your left knee. And continue, abduct your right knee a little, still in the air, and continue doing the arch and flatten. And try not moving your right knee. Can you feel that your pelvis is moving around your femur in this position, or in this movement? And slowly come out of the movement. And stand your foot and rest a little bit. And you can even extend both legs if you want to. Take a little sensory interlude. And the purpose of this movement is to feel the sensations when you're moving your pelvis around your femur in different positions, abducted and externally rotated positions of the femur. So let's do one more position. Stand both of your feet, and then bring your right knee higher. Flex your leg at the hip so that your knee is higher in the air. Your foot is dangling down. You can hold your right knee if you want with your right hand. And then in this position, bring your right knee out. So as if, yeah, it's hanging out, the foot is down. Yes, and you can hold it if you want to. And do the arch and flatten in this position, and try not moving the knee. The knee should not move in space, but you rotate your pelvis around your femur. Your femur is fixed. This is a constraint. And you try to move your pelvis, do the arch and flatten, roll your pelvis around your femur. And if you want, try this in different positions. You can come wherever you find this most interesting and exciting and the best learning for you. Is this a good position for you, or do you want to go back to the vertical position with the knee? And go ahead and explore this movement a little bit. How does it feel when you rotate your femur, the pelvis around the femur? Is that possible at all? And then come out and extend both legs. And notice the sensations you created. How does your right hip joint feel now on the floor compared to the left hip joint? Your buttocks, your right hemipelvis, the bony part of it. Is one leg longer than the other? And then stand both feet again. Take your left knee up in the air so that your foot is dangling, and you might want to hold it or not, whatever is most comfortable for you. And go ahead and do the normal arch and flatten. Notice how your knee wants to move with your, or if your knee wants to move with the movement of your pelvis. And then hold your knee still and don't move it in space, but move your pelvis around your hip, your femur. And how does it feel on this side? Is it the same compared to the other side? Is it different? And it might also be interesting if you can, not holding the knee, because it's different. Then you have to even more focus on keeping the knee stable. But if that's too difficult, go ahead and hold your knee. And then bring your knee out a little more, left knee more out to the left. And then you have a different position from your femur in your pelvis, and go ahead and continue the arch and flatten, holding your knee if that's more comfortable. And noticing how you're moving your pelvis around your femur in this position. And whenever you need to take a break, go ahead and take a break. And then come out, bring your foot onto the floor and extend, or take a break, take a short break before we do the last movement in this series. And then once more, stand both feet. Your right knee up over your hip somewhere. And then bring your left knee up over your hip. And let it hang out, bring it out so that it hangs out to the left as far as is comfortable. And once more, do the arch and flatten in this position. And go ahead and play with the position of your knee. Do you want to abduct it less or more? Or where is the most learning for you in this position, in this movement? You might want to hold your knee, or you might not want to hold it. Whatever is true for you is true for you. And I see one person is even putting her foot on her right knee, left foot on the right knee, and doing the movement. That's another position, which is very interesting if you can do this and want to do this. And then go ahead and explore and do whatever is most interesting for you. And then come out of the movement and extend both legs and rest, and notice how that feels now in your hip joint, right and left. How does your whole body feel on the floor? And let's do an integrational move at the end. You might want to stand both feet again. And we do what most of you know as the twist. Right arm out to the right and left arm out to the left in a T, so that both arms are like in a T. If that's comfortable for you, if that's not comfortable, you can keep your arms lower. Right hand towards the ceiling, left hand towards the floor, left palm to the floor and right palm towards the ceiling. Look towards your right palm, and then very slowly let your knees sink to the left. You can start with the left knee, and the right knee wants to follow at some stage. And then come back to neutral with your knees and roll your arms so that your right palm is facing to the floor, your left palm is facing towards the ceiling. And you look to your left palm, and then your right knee goes right, and the left knee will want to follow at some stage. And go ahead and go back and forth and with this movement, and with a special focus on the hip joints. When your left knee is leading, when you're going to the left, when does your hip want to follow your pelvis, your right knee? And then go back and forth, a couple of minutes. Go slow. Feel the length in your back. When you're going to the left, you might feel the length in your right lower back. And when you turn, bringing your knees to the right, very slowly start with your right knee, and then at some stage the pelvis follows and the other knee will follow, the other leg. And when you've turned both of your legs to the right, you will feel the length in your left lower back. And go slow and enjoy these movements. And whenever you're ready, finish the movement you're on. And then extend both legs. And notice, how is your body on the floor now? Your heels left and right now and before. How do your calves feel, right and left? Any change? The backs of your knees, are they touching the floor? Are they in the air? Your thighs, right and left. Is one softer, one denser, one in the air, on the floor? How do they feel compared to before? Any difference? And your hip joints on the floor, the area where your thighs are meeting the pelvis, right and left, how does that feel? Is that flat on the floor or not? and your right and left hemipelvis. Any change from before? Any ahas? Your lower spine, your lower back, your lumbar spine. How does that feel? Like right and left of the spine. And then with your attention, go to your shoulder blades, right and left. And take some deep breaths into your back ribs. Can you feel any change in the sensation of your thoracic spine, of your rib cage? And your arms, how are they on the floor now compared to before? When you feel your arms from within, and the tops of your shoulders, the tips of your shoulders. And then very slowly and gently let your head roll to one side, only as far as it wants to go. Slowly come back to neutral. And then go and let it roll to the other side. See how far it wants to go. Notice, is there any difference from before when we started? And then whenever you're ready, turn onto one of your sides. Take your time. Just rest a little bit on your side. Make yourself comfortable. And whenever you're ready, you can come to standing and notice how you feel in standing now. Balance on your feet, right and left. Do you feel, I know we didn't do a standing assessment before, but like from how you generally feel when you're standing, do you feel a difference? And you can walk around a little bit and notice how your body feels in walking now. Integrate these movements. Go slow and careful. Notice whatever you notice. Notice what you feel, and I hope you feel good. And that's the end of the class. Susan.
Thank you very, very much. Just take your time because I have to I have to do a few things with the computer. So and thank you so much, Astrid. That was just lovely. I'm really looking forward to the discussion. Everybody is welcome to stay for the discussion if they so choose. I'm going to sign off till next month, and I am going to now stop the recording.